Don't miss the biggest show of the summer, Kings of the West, starring Bone Thugs and Harmony, E40, Too Short, Mac 10, The Dog Pound, DJ Quick, Sugar Free, and Khadijah, live July 11th at Wells Fargo Arena. Don't miss Kings of the West with Bone Thugs and Harmony, E40, Too Short, DJ Quick, Mac 10, The Dog Pound, Sugar Free, and Khadijah. Get tickets now at HighVTix.com.
All Access. An inside look at what it takes to operate Iowa's largest entertainment and convention facilities. This is Iowa Events Center All Access. From Iowa Everywhere.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of All Access here on the Iowa Everywhere Podcast Network. We're presented by our friends at the Iowa Event Center. That's where Adam Flack is right now, over at the arena. And Adam, you guys are in a little bit of a slow period right now after we had a big, couple week stretch of some concerts, some big events through the arena. But we're ramping up into some more fun at the arena, aren't we?
Yeah, it's we got through UFC, we got through WWE, Brooks and Dunn, and a lot of those shows, and now we have a little bit of a lull. It had the Eric Church announcement, so that one went on sale, and tickets are still available for that. But now we're just ramping up for our comedy season here. We got a couple comedians coming up at the end of the month and beginning of June, and I see a jersey poking out there, Matt. You're not excited about Purdy's announcement this week, were you?
I don't know if you heard me on Two Guys this morning, but yeah, I was a little excited about that.
No, it's great. I'm glad it's done well in advance of the season so we can concentrate on football at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard me talking about, I hope we can get like a E40 and a Brock Purdy jersey or something like some of those. Maybe we can get Too Short and a Kittle or something like that. Hopefully they can rep the 49ers guys, from the Bay Area. So,
usually we try to put them in one of our local teams' jerseys, but I guess we can, do the 49ers by extension of local.
Yeah, or maybe we can get them in an Iowa State Brock Purdy jersey or an Iowa Hawkeye Kittle, something like that. Show their loyalty. I was looking at, I'm excited for this show, as we mentioned, July 11th at the arena. That will be, as we've talked about, the first Casey Center official show. But I know that you guys are going to be putting some signage up here pretty soon, right? So people might be seeing some of the Casey Center stuff.
Yeah, man, it's going so fast. When we announced this back in October, it felt like we had a lifetime, till the transition happened. And now we're sitting about 6 weeks out from Casey Center basically taking over the naming rights on July 1st. And so, you'll see us ramp up signage and things as we move closer to that date. If you've been in the arena in the last couple of weeks, you might have seen that like our stairwells, the entire signage package in the arena is getting an upgrade. So we've had the red and yellow kind of Wells Fargo colors for the section signs, and that was the theme throughout the building. All of that is going to be replaced. Some of it has already been done. You'll see a little bit sleeker, modern, black and white look in that signage. So the stairwells are done, the event level's done.
Nice.
After Matt Rife on June 8th, you'll start to see changes happening a little bit more. And then throughout June, probably starting around that June 9th date, you'll start to see the Wells Fargo signage go down on the exterior so that we can get everything prepped and ready to put the new signs up.
Nice. I've been getting a lot of questions about Casey Center, and one of the common ones that comes up is, are we going to get Casey's concessions and so they're going to be Casey's Pizza served in the arena? Have any of those details been finalized? Or?
Yeah, those details will probably come out. I mean, yes, Casey's Pizza for sure will be here. And we'll have more announcements around that week of June 2nd in terms of what that full slew of offerings is going to be from Casey's from a fan experience standpoint. So stay tuned. We will have stuff that week in terms of launching what the concession stands and stuff are going to look like.
Cool. As we kind of ramp into the, summer sports, summer seasons, a lot of people going down to the Iowa Cubs and stuff like that. I don't know if you're in the same boat as me, but I'm always checking out the different concession offerings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or even if you go to different arenas, I know, Adam, some of these arenas are offering self-checkout concession stands where you just put an item on a thing and it scans it. Is that ever something that you guys are going to look at doing, or?
It could be. We've made some transitions so far with OVG Hospitality Hospitality that runs our food and beverage program here. We've done some walk-in stands, under the escalator on the South Concourse. You go grab your own beer and then take it and check out. We don't have the Amazon technology or what some of those are doing yet, where you scan your credit card on the way in and then they can tell what you got on the way out. We don't have those yet, but we are looking at more automation type things. They'll self-serve and make it easier for people to get through those lines. So more to come on that,
Cool.
Probably as we get later into the summer.
Yeah, cool. It's always interesting to think about, and especially as you make these changes to signage and sponsorships and stuff, to see what could come through the arena and what people can kind of expect. All right, so yeah, keep your eyes out for the Casey Center signage, and maybe take some pictures. If you see and you're going around, take some pictures and tag us and stuff.
Yeah, I think the challenge with talking about the food and beverage aspect, that's the whole, it's what do you need to do fresh? What do you need to do quick? And what can sit in a warmer for a little while and still be fresh and the presentation that you want. That's always that question is, you sacrifice one or the other to serve the customers quicker, or do you let them order and then make it to order? So that's a delicate balance that Derek and the team do to make sure that we're prepared. But the best thing is to get people through the line, get their food, and get back to their seats quicker for the event.
Absolutely. And we, speaking of events, we have one actually coming up this week. The Barnstormers are in their season. They play Friday, May 23rd against Tulsa. And then, like you said, we kind of ramp into some more events, some comedians. But we get things started next week, next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with Des Moines Con coming back to Des Moines, to the Iowa Event Center, to the EMC Expo Center. It's going to be a cool week. We've talked about this in the past. We talked with Ben Penrod last year about it, and gave us some great insight to kind of what they bring. And they kind of bring the same tour back every year, but they kind of change who the different actors, the different, cosplay, the different voice actors, artists and stuff like that come through. And as I was looking through the different artists, we saw that Iowa's very own Brandon Routh is coming back this year. Superman, Iowa's Superman, right? Yeah,
not here every year, so you get a chance to get back. I saw an article in the Register with Brandon today, so excited to have him come back. The event's, it's an interesting event, right?
Yeah.
So like you said, the basics are all there, whether it be they're going to have speakers, they're going to do different workshops and have exhibitors. And then as they bring Brandon back and some of those other talents that come back, that's kind of what changes every year. So it keeps it fresh for people to come in, get the autographs, the photos, that type of stuff with their different special guests. So excited to see the event this year. It seems to keep growing and people keep coming.
It's like they got Charlie Cox, I think Daredevil movie, Mike Coulter from Luke Cage, and they always bring some sort of like musical act. And this year's Epic Rap Battles of History. These are a couple guys that I've always liked to watch on YouTube, where they kind of do these parody sketch videos, these kind of rap battles. So check them out on YouTube. They've been doing this, Adam, for like 15 years. Like if you go back, like I think their very first one had to do with like it was like Barack Obama and John McCain. Like we're talking way back. Like they've done some really funny things, and they kind of dress up as characters and put together these kind of rap battles. So this was like before Hamilton, was making rap battles famous with like
Speaking of rap battles, I mean the big conversation in my house right now is Eminem or Drake. I'm a big fan of Eminem. Grew up with Eminem, where my son is all Drake, all day. So that's the battle that we're having. It's no longer MJ and LeBron. Now it's Eminem versus Drake.
Let's say it's not Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. Okay, I'm more of an Eminem guy with you. That was kind of me when I was growing up. I've actually seen Eminem live, and it was down at the Kansas Speedway. They did like a music festival in the summer down there, and he was one of the headliners. That was a really cool show. I'd say more Eminem, but these epic rap battles of history, check them out on YouTube, and they're going to be doing, it's cool. They're doing like a live performance on Saturday, and then Sunday they're doing like a Q&A. So they're kind of going to be here for both days. So
awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. So I think DesMoinesCon.com, I believe, is the place to get your information for that. Tickets are available at HiVTix.com as well, or Des Moines Con. And that'll be over in the EMC Expo Center. I'm guessing they take over kind of that whole expo area, right, Adam?
Yeah, they do. They'll set up their different areas all within the exhibit hall floor. And, it's one of those events that maybe it starts at one hall and then it keeps growing and gets expanded into two halls. And, it's that type of event where you can bring in fresh speakers every year, just continues to grow as they build a reputation in Des Moines.
Cool. Kids of all ages can probably come down to that too. There'll be some really cool events for the whole family. So, all right. And then, as we mentioned, we're getting into some comedy. Shane Gillis is kind of going to lead things off for you guys. May 31st, Wells Fargo Arena, a Saturday comedy in Des Moines. That's going to be perfect. I'm excited for this too. We've talked about this. One of the biggest comedians that's out there right now. You guys are catching him at the right time, and I know there are still a few seats left. I think there's like singles. If you're wanting to just come down and watch some comedy, there's some great single seats left in the lower level. But most of that ticketing that's available is still upper level right now, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And they're, they've dropped a couple holds here and there. So if you keep checking every day on HyVTix.com, you may come across a pair or a section of 4 together down on the lower level, but that'll be limited. If you want tickets to the show, I would recommend getting them now. I mean, if you look at it, this event's in the round. Every seat's available, so it's a huge production in terms of a comedian. Will be sold out. This is by far already our highest selling comedian we've ever had.
Wow.
It passed Adam Sandler, which had the record before that. Joe Rogan had done a big show. Nate Bargatze has done a big show. So a lot of comedians have come through, but Shane Gillis will be the highest attended one.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, he's a really funny guy. You've probably seen him on different commercials and Saturday Night Live, and he's got some great specials out too right now. So wow, so highest selling comedy show in the 20-year history. That's pretty impressive.
Yep. Yeah, it's a big show, and he's got he talks about grilled cheese and a lot during his tour, or during his stand up. So we will have a grilled cheese special up in the fort for any attendee. So stop up to the fort, which is located on the suite level, but available for all ticket holders. Anybody can go up there. It's a great place to go before the event.
So we go back-to-back weeks with comedy. You got Saturday, May 31st, Shane Gillis, and then we go Sunday, June 8th with Matt Rife, the State Golden Tour. So this one's a more traditional stage, right? This is not in the round. It's going to be more traditional. And it looks like mostly upper level for this one, too. So lower level, maybe a few singles, but yeah, you're looking probably upper level for this one, too. So another hot-selling comedy show. Yeah,
Matt Rife's ascension in comedy has just been, it seems really fast, right? So he was playing, I know he played some of our smaller theaters and even some convention centers that put chairs down and did comedy just a couple years ago. Now he's grown to doing a tour, headlining tour in arenas, which is great. So looking forward to Matt Rife. It's sold really well. Won't get to where Shane Gillis is, but it'll be one of our top 5 comedy shows we've had.
I just saw a clip from him that came across the other day. Somebody fell asleep during one of his shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it was so funny how he handled it. Oh my gosh. This was not in an arena. This was in a smaller club. So this may have been a couple of years ago. But the guy fell asleep with this group of friends there, and they're like, "Yeah, he works late night." So this is, but they were what they did was they turned the lights off in the comedy club, and then he walked over to him and he stood right in front of him and just scared him.
Gotcha. Well, he does so much crowd work.
Yes, that's what I mean.
That last special that was all on crowd work. So it'll be a lot different than the Shane Gillis show, where maybe Shane's got his canned material that he's working on, and we'll put out there, where Matt will get into the crowd a little bit and do some crowd work, which is a different style, but still effective.
I think the best comedians are the ones that do crowd work. The ones that can just go on the fly, kind of ad lib things. Those are the ones that I really enjoy seeing. And some people just want the more traditional comedy and don't want to be involved in the show necessarily. But you get your best moments from those spontaneous jokes and stuff like that. So yeah, this will be fun. I know he was up in I think he played Stevens Auditorium in Ames maybe a couple of years ago. So
I think you're right.
He's playing some bigger arenas now. So this kind of shows you his trajectory in the comedy scene.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, I think the crowd work really shows the talent, right? To think on your feet like that and really take what the audience says and be able to turn it into something funny is pretty impressive. I think there's room for both, but interesting that a week in between them, we'll get to see both types of comedy.
Yeah, for sure. Any word on if the Iowa super fan mom or whoever's going to be there on stage with them? Or
I would assume that she'll be in attendance. Who knows if she'll be on stage with them? But I can't imagine a show, in her home market that she's not at.
And getting your seats early, because these stand-up comedians usually bring some good openers too. So cool. So June 8th, HiVTix.com. Still some upper-level, mostly tickets available for both of these shows, Shane Gillis and Matt Rife. All right. Another kind of just industry topic that I know you wanted to hit on was this all-in pricing that people might be seeing in the news right now, kind of relating to tickets, kind of some live event ticketing, hotels, stuff like that. So what do you want people to know about all-in pricing that's going to be more prominent and seen on your website?
Yeah, so I think May 12th is when it officially launched. And as we were talking before the show, HiVTix has shown all-in pricing since, probably the last half of 2024. To me, it's great. It's more transparent for the fan that when you go on and you look for tickets, you're going to know what price you're going to pay at checkout right up front, as opposed to, picking a $50 ticket and then getting to checkout and the fees are all added on top. Mm-hmm. Now everybody, whether it's Ticketmaster or Axis or HiVTix or anybody that does live event ticketing, will show you the all-in price right up front. So to me, it might look like you're paying more per ticket when you first look at it, if you're not used to it, but ultimately that's what you're paying out the door, and you're not surprised. So now I do know there are a couple discrepancies, like on HiVTix, you're going to see there, once you pick your seat, which is going to show you, it's going to show you $64.75 right up front, but we will break it out for you once you select that seat, and you'll see what the full price of the ticket was and then what you're paying in fees. But it's going to add up to what we told you at the beginning you're going to pay. The one difference I think I know of is on Ticketmaster. I think your taxes are added on top, so you'll see your all-in price with your full price and your fees, but then they'll add the tax on at the end, I believe, just based on where you live. And,
kind of location-based, zip code-based.
Yeah, but with HiVTix and our Paciolan system, we put that right into the per item fees.
So that's Iowa taxes that's included?
Correct, yep.
Very cool. Yeah, interesting note, and something that, just the full transparency of what your tickets are. And I know that's been a big thing with artists too. That artists have really been pushing that they want fair ticket pricing. They don't want people being price gouged and stuff like that through Ticketmaster with all these different, I think there's maybe some lawsuits out there and stuff like that that include some of that. So, but this is kind of the first step really, right? Into kind of showing some of these transparency and what you're paying for, right?
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do, right? It makes it better for the fan. You know what you're paying, and you pay what you see. I think hotels, is another one that they're doing this with, and airlines and some of that, which we all see it. And fees aren't bad, like that's, when you go to Target and buy something, you're paying some sort of a fee, but you don't see that because they just include it in the price. So that puts us more in line with other retail outlets as well.
Interesting. Okay, cool. So something to keep in mind as you're on HiVTix.com, some changes that you might be seeing as you kind of check out, make your way through. And again, another good opportunity to go over to IowaEventCenter.com, check out the different shows coming to the arena, the different events that you guys have coming. You guys have a big summer lineup too coming too that we'll get to in future shows. But man, this is going to be the next couple of weeks, going to be comedy and a lot of laughs down at the arena.
Yeah, what's crazy is we're booking for the fall and the winter right now. So you're going to see some announcements coming up here in the next few weeks with other shows that are coming in, whether that be comedy or concerts. I think you'll see some of that. But yeah, it's right now we're just gearing up for the summer shows, gearing up for the transition with Casey Center, and then, also putting some shows on sale for the fall. Because once we hit September, it's country music.
Yep. Be fun to kind of get a behind the scenes look too, as you guys are kind of booking some of these shows, what you're looking for, how you guys kind of find these artists that you guys want to put in the arena too. So that would be kind of fun to get a behind the scenes look at that. But for the time being, come check out some great comedy. There's still tickets available at HiVTix.com, and we'll invite you down to the arena. If comedy's not your thing, come check out Des Moines Con. There's lots of different activities, different people to come meet and see. So a little something for everyone this week.
Yep, and get down and see that Barnstormers game Friday night. So Barnstormers season is full in effect, not winning a ton yet, so we need to pick it up in the second half of the season here, but still plenty of opportunities to come down and see the Barnstormers. Yeah,
get your football fix in right now. If the draft wasn't your thing, or if contract negotiations aren't your thing, come check out some indoor football. It might be exactly what you're looking for. All right, for Adam Flack, I'm Matt Van Winkle. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of All Access presented by the Iowa Event Center here on the Iowa Everywhere Podcast Network.